Alrighty, welcome back folks. Here's another installment of Integrity Bites, our weekly vlog where we talk all things integrity and different things going around the traps. This week we're going to talk about sports integrity, topic dear to my heart. And in relation to that, it's been a big couple of weeks for sports integrity. We've seen a couple of issues pop up in relation to the WA fever in the Super Netball, getting busted for salary cap breaches. I'll talk about that in a second. And we've also seen a Australian table tennis champion, Adam Green, busted by the AFP or New South Wales Police for corrupt payments in relation to match fixing. So two good topics to talk about quickly. Let's talk about the WA Fury first and foremost. So with those guys, they've been busted for overpaying on the salary cap for the last couple of years, 2019, 2018. Of note, a couple of 100,000 or more each year. They've been fined 12 competition points for next year, which is a huge amount for the whole season, basically wipes out their season, and $300,000, which is a significant sum of money, particularly for a sport like netball. I think my take on this, and I think the interesting part for me is, and I talked a bit about this with Shelley Horton from 9 Honey a few weeks ago, I think this is an emerging issue for female professional sports. There's a lot of movement in a great way, in a positive way towards female sports and professionalising it, trying to get more money into the sports via sponsorships and broadcast deals. And I think those sports, female sports that are trying to grab a dominant position, have a heightened risk of potentially having issues like this. It's a competitive landscape. Dollars are tight when it comes to sponsors. Smart sponsors and smart fans are getting involved in female sports and seeing that it's a first mover advantage. But with that comes the increased risk of wanting to perform and establish what I think is a dominant position early, so you can become the Melbourne Storm, if you like, or the Sydney Roosters, to use some NRL examples in netball. So I think you've seen some activity here where the Fever haven't done what they should have done. They've clearly breached the salary cap. Sadly for them, they didn't win either, but now they've set their program back and their reputation. So, I think for emerging female professional sports, there's a risk of seeing increased activity to try and get that dominant position. Because ultimately, if you're successful early and you establish that position, you're going to attract better sponsors, you're going to attract more fans, more coverage, and that's going to make the bottom line even better. So like we've seen with men's sport for the last 10 or 15 years, they're not immune to those integrity risks. And I think this is I think it's the second example in Super Netball now of salary cap breaches. So that's one to watch. Let's move on to table tennis now. So table tennis is a minnow sport that not many people watch. What COVID has shown us in the last 12 months is there's a huge appetite for online gambling globally, but particularly in Australia. So as we saw professional sports shut down and not able to play and go on a hiatus, you've now got an issue of minor sports trying to fill the void, and there's an appetite from punters wanting to punt. So we've seen Adam Green, he's based up in Newcastle, former table tennis player for Australia or internationally, and he's been arrested for being involved in a Ukrainian table tennis competition, who would have thought, and sending payments and being involved in corrupt activities to fix the outcomes of those matches. So, my take on those kind of issues are, this is a known issue by sports integrity professionals and lawyers and administrators in sports. The second tier and third tier sports, they don't get anywhere near the sponsorship dollars. They don't have broadcast rights, so money is very, very tight. And even if you look at a sport like tennis where you're struggling on the challenger circuit, the opportunity to try and influence the outcome there for an illegal betting syndicate is quite high, because the motivator for the athlete is, I'm unlikely to get caught, that's what they think. Now not as true through data analytics, but I'm not being paid any money. So here's my opportunity to earn $100,000 that I would never earn. Never going to earn that kind of money playing badminton, table tennis, whatever, potentially, unless you're the best in the world. So, increased integrity risk for minnow sports and second tier sports, because players aren't getting paid enough, there's no TV coverage, and there's a huge appetite of offshore gambling and betting. And we see a lot of betting syndicates, internationally trying to approach players in Australia to try and corrupt them. So that's my update this week for Integrity Bites on the sports flavour. And we're going to have one more episode next week before we head into Christmas as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.